Pope Francis made headlines in 2016, but not every story was widely reported. Dr. Matthew Bunson is an EWTN senior contributor and writes for the National Catholic Register. Matthew, in your view, what were the big stories of this year?
Yeah, well, we can obviously talk about the 2016 presidential election.
Sure.
But when we focus ourselves on Pope Francis, we see some really interesting stories. First, his travel. This is a man who, at the start of his pontificate, said he didn't like to travel. He's made like 18 trips outside, traveling the world. He's made 6 this last year, again to the peripheries, which is something very important for Francis to do. So he went to Mexico, he went to Georgia and Azerbaijan, he went to Greece, to Lesbos to talk about the plight of refugees. And then he made that really important trip to Krakow for World Youth Day. That celebration that he was looking forward to, but that ties into one of the other things that is the major pillar of his pontificate, which is mercy. And in that sense, too, we can see mercy in the year of mercy, we can see mercy in his trips around the world, and then we can see mercy in that key document of the year, Amoris Laetitia, his exhortation on the family.
Absolutely. And obviously there was that other powerful video of Pope Francis when he visited Auschwitz, the death camp, and him just simply walking through. I mean, how powerful do you think of the statement he made by just doing that?
Well, silence, I think, was the message that he wanted to convey, that you cannot even express the horror that happened there, but he brought that message of God's loving mercy. And at World Youth Day, what did he do? He focused on divine mercy, on St. Faustina, and of course on the great legacy of John Paul II.
You also say that some of these stories were underreported during this year. What comes to mind?
They were. Well, there were a couple. The first is with the death of Fidel Castro, that this media obsession with Fidel's legacy. But lost in that discussion was the now vital, crucial role of the church in Cuba. The church is now really the only legitimate institution in Cuba. So moving forward, look for the church to have a much more prominent role. No one was really talking about that. There was also Pope Francis's role in trying to bring peace to Syria. He focused on this again and again in his homilies and his general audiences, and even to the point of appointing the nuncio to Syria, Archbishop Zenari, a cardinal. And then we can look at one other aspect with Francis in this year. And it's interesting, too, because he's focused on the role of Catholics in political life. And this underreported story from the 2016 election was the role of Catholics in the 2016 campaign. Catholics played a vital role in the election of Donald Trump, something that no one really saw coming, and we've had very poor analysis since the election on that.
Yeah, like I said, there is so much that's packed in, and like so much people didn't have either had time to report or didn't just simply take the time to focus on. So now, noting all that, coming into next year, what do you think's on your radar? What do you think people are going to cover?
There are a couple of things. With Francis, look for new members of the College of Cardinals. He's going to be appointing new members. Look also for the possible conclusion of his reforms to the Roman Curia. But then on the domestic front, Donald Trump has 100 vacancies in the U.S. judiciary. Filling those court seats is going to be vital, not just the Supreme Court, but he's going to be able to recraft much of the entire judicial system in the United States, right at a time when state legislatures across the United States are pushing pro-life legislation. So we could see a lot of progress in the cause of life, on the whole pro-life cause. And I think with that changed judiciary, a lot of things are possible in 2017.
Absolutely. And of course, us with EWTN News Nightly, we're going to be following it. Dr. Matthew Bunson, EWTN senior contributor. Thanks so much.
Great to be with you.